morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On the Clock with Person Living Alert. I'm David. I'm with Person Living Alert, and today we're going to speak with Heidi Friedman. Heidi is an attorney, an elder law attorney, and she's with Friedman Elder Law Department, and she's a board-certified elder law attorney. Heidi, good morning, and thanks for being on.
Good morning, David, and thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Heidi, what is your background, and how did you get into the senior community?
So, interestingly enough, I went to University of Florida. I was in telecommunications for quite some time and did that a couple of years out of college, and then ultimately ended up going back to law school. When I graduated from law school, I worked for a medium-sized firm. We did a lot of lobbying. I represented, actually, Nova Southeastern was one of my largest clients. I did all employment and student employment discrimination cases and things like that. Lobbied in Tallahassee back in the day when lobbying was a lot of fun. And really enjoyed myself. But then in 2000, I decided that it was time to have a child. And I ended up having my first son, who was born with a whole host of special needs. Basically, we didn't know if he would survive. So from the hospital room, after he was born, I called my office and I had to literally walk away from my job at that time to rebuild him. And thankfully, he's 20 years old and he's amazing right now. But during that time period, I realized how much need there was for individuals with disabilities, and ultimately went to work for an agency called Alpert Jewish Children and Family Services, doing their guardianships and becoming their development director, which was kind of a big stretch for me considering I never put together a party in my life. So it was kind of funny that I became like this development director and I was putting on these fundraisers and things like that. One of the board's members of Alpert Jewish and Children Family Services was Scott Sokoff, who is also a board-certified elder law attorney. And we realized that we had gone to school together, and he offered the opportunity for me to come in and learn more about elder law and what he was doing. And I loved it. I just fell in love with the practice. It was near and dear to my heart, but not so close to my heart in dealing with young adults with special needs, because that was a little bit too close to home. But working with the seniors and hearing their stories and getting them, services and giving them some peace of mind that they can afford to pay for care that they actually needed was just something that just touched my heart. And so I've been doing it ever since. So that's how I got here.
That's cool. So what is an elder law attorney? If you wanted to break it down into a short, a couple of minutes, what is an elder law attorney? What, because I'm not even sure.
Right. So a lot of people think that elder law attorneys and estate lawyers are very similar. And in a way they are, because we do deal with planning, but an elder law attorney actually expands a very large realm of different things. You have elder law attorneys that deal with elder abuse. I don't do that, but there are attorneys that do that. You have elder law attorneys that deal with guardianship, and that's when you have an elderly person that can no longer take care of themselves and somebody needs to step in because they haven't done the proper planning or they didn't get their durable powers of attorney done, and now they're not capable of making those decisions. So you have those kind of attorneys, elder law attorneys that will do guardianships. What I do is I basically help elderly people qualify for government benefits such as Medicaid and or VA benefits to help pay for long-term care. They can either do that during a crisis period, and what I mean by that is the phone call that I'll get is from a child or a spouse that my husband or wife is in the hospital. They've been in for 3 overnights. They were transferred over to a skilled nursing rehab, and now the rehab center is saying they're no longer rehabilitatable and we have to get them out. And they need to go to either home with some care or an assisted living facility, or sometimes a skilled nursing facility that can cost $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And the family doesn't know how they're going to pay for that. They might have some money, but not enough to really cover that. So that's our crisis planning. And what happens through that is that we will help them qualify for Medicaid and or VA if it's a wartime veteran or surviving spouse to help pay for that care. Then I also do more pre-planning, because what I try to tell the 65-year-old population, 65 years and older population, is you may have your estate plan done, and you may have done it when you were in your 30s, your 40s, when you had younger children, or even kids going to college. But after 65, your life has changed. You're no longer worried about what happens if I die. Will my wife or my spouse be able to still afford to take care of my children? Now your estate plan should look at, how can I protect my assets now against the cost of long-term care so that I can leave a legacy at the end? So that's kind of the difference when you're dealing with an estate lawyer and an elder law attorney when you're talking about estate planning. I only do estate planning for people who are 65 years and older because, again, that focus is different. We're trying to now to protect those assets by starting to get them qualified for benefits, or starting that process now, so that when they do need long-term care in the future, they'll be able to qualify for the benefits to help pay for care. So.
All right, okay, I appreciate that. It helps me a lot. So,
Do I need to start planning for you yet, David?
Almost. I'm getting there. Every day I'm getting older.
Thank God for that.
Exactly. So let me ask you, how are you interacting with your clients now? And I mean, we're to remind everybody, we're still in COVID, and things like that. So I'm sure everything has changed. How are you interacting with them? And how are you conducting business, and what's changed?
So it has changed a lot, because prior to COVID, I was able to go to the facilities. I was able to have one-on-one conversations with family members or the individuals themselves, which is always good, because again, a big part of what I like and why I enjoy what I do so much is learning and meeting my clients, because they're the ones that I'm helping, and they have these great stories about when they were younger. So a lot of that obviously has changed. First of all, you can't get into the facilities anymore, which is it's a tragedy with what's happening. And also, because I work with that vulnerable population and I have my own child with special needs, I'm not willing to put myself at risk by meeting people in person right now, because it's just too risky. So we are doing a lot of video conferences, a lot of video consultations. And actually, if you can believe this, it's really been an eye-opener for me, because we've done a lot of consultations through my entire career with children who are out of state, because that's usually what happens. It's a child that comes and sees their parents, and all of a sudden they're not doing as great as they thought they were doing, or all of a sudden they got that phone call that dad's in the hospital out of the blue. And so my consultations with the children who are out of the state have always been on the phone. But now I'm realizing that, wait a second, we should be doing video consultations with these people so we can actually talk, and it's such a much more comprehensive consultation when you could see somebody, even if it's just in video. So It's really improved it a lot in that respect, because we never did that before, and now that's what we are doing. So I could be talking to somebody in New York or California or wherever on a video call about their parent who lives down here in Florida. So it's been good. The biggest issue though is the signings, because if you need a notary, that's been a big difficult issue for everybody in the elder law world right now.
So are they changing laws or making exceptions? I mean, I see all these software programs like DocuSign and things like that. Are they making exceptions, or do you still have to email something, have a notary can't go over there? I mean, so how is that happening?
So right now, as of, I want to say July 1st, this actually came on before COVID. They are allowing video notaries or online notaries. So you can become an online notary, which I've already done the process and the application, and now I just need to send it in. And that also has been a really good eye-opening thing for my practice, because again, we have documents that we may need somebody to notarize in another state. And I've had to usually say, okay, you know what, go to the bank and get it notarized. But now, becoming an online notary, I'll be able to act as the notary for all of my clients, no matter where they are. So that is one really good thing. The other thing that it's really done, David, which is just amazing, is it's made us look stronger at, or more in more detail at, our laws and what we have to do. And for example, one of the planning things that we do is a qualified income trust. Well, prior to COVID, we would have told you, absolutely, you need a notary and 2 witnesses or whatever to make that be acceptable. Well, we looked into the law as an elder law team, the elder law bar, you don't need a notary. So now that wipes away that big chunk that we don't have to do anymore. The only document that we realize we really need a notary on right now is your durable powers of attorney, and also your trust documents, but only for the portion upon when you die. not what happens during lifetime. So you could still have these trusts signed. You just may have to go back after this whole COVID is over and put in those, more of those, the death clauses in there to have them signed. So it's been really interesting in this whole elder law world to realize some of the things that we were doing, we didn't have to do. And some of the things that we weren't thinking about doing are really working out great for us. So
That's awesome. But that leads me to two questions. One is, how are the court systems? How backed up are they? And how does that impact anything? And the second is, when COVID is finally over in 6 months, a year, whatever, is it going to go back to traditional notaries, or is this going to be the wave of the future?
So as far as the court system, so understanding, I don't do a lot of court. I don't do any court, as a matter of fact. I deal mostly with the government agencies. Anything that has litigation or court or anything, I actually refer over to other people. From what I understand, though, is that even also has been really good, because a lot of the motions are getting done ex parte, which means that you don't need both people there. They're getting done on video. So I have a good friend, her name is Nina Chep. They do a lot of guardianship, and she told me that it's actually been working really well because they're able to get their hearings quicker. The judges are happy with it as well as what's going on. So they're doing a lot of video calls, or Zoom calls. So I think but that will definitely go back. I don't see that being the wave of the future. Maybe, but I don't, maybe for some things, again, it's amazing that in this horrible time, we're really getting some things that could advance everything that we do.
Right.
As far as, do I see things going back afterwards? I don't. I don't think that we'll ever go back to where we were. I think that there might be, some legislation or some fights about, do we really need a notary on your durable power attorney? Or how can we get around that if we need to in the future? Because that has really been a very difficult part. Somebody who is in an assisted living facility or even at home that can't get a durable power of attorney signed, if they go and become incapacitated during this time, you have to go through guardianship if you want to be able to tap into their assets. So I think that might be looked at a little bit, stronger in the future. I do believe that there's going to be a lot more video and Zoom calls and a lot more online remote, notaries being done, because I don't see how we'll ever be able to go back to where we were. I think people are going to be afraid to still put their loved ones in nursing homes. I think people are going to be afraid to continue to put them in the assisted living, even though they're amazing. But I definitely think it's going to change the face of this whole practice.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think as a layperson, right? I think from a judge's standpoint, even from your standpoint, you can get more done Zooming than constantly going into court. You could probably knock out with one judge, if you could schedule right, you can knock out half a dozen of them in a shorter period of time than having everybody constantly go in and out and things like that. It just seems to make more sense to me. So another question for you. Is there an elder law attorney association where they give you guidance, or are you getting your own guidance on your own, or how's that work?
No, we have a National Association of the Elder Law Lawyers, and then we also have what we call a fellow, which is the Academy of Florida Elder Lawyers, and they both have listservs. As a matter of fact, anytime you have any kind of question or issue, or just listen, I've been doing this for so long. I'm board certified, which basically means I can specialize in this. There's only 109 board certified elder law attorneys in the entire state of Florida. But they'll come up and you still question yourself, like, wait, am I doing this right? This doesn't. So it's great because the listserv, you have some amazing attorneys on there. People are so willing to provide the answer and the guidance. And then you also have those people that work at the different agency organizations that are very helpful for any questions that you have. It's great to be on the National Association because you do hear about what's going on in other states. Because again, I have snowbirds. They're not snowbirding right now, but for the most part, they've been snowbirds. So, if I have a client that lives here and also lives in New York, they might ask me, well, what's better? Do I go here or New York? Where do I do this? And it's great for me to be able to have that listserv, so I can say, you know what, let me get you an attorney in New York, or let me put this on the listserv and let me see. So it's a great resource.
So a little bit lighter, what are your clients asking for most? I mean, are they, what's on their mind, your clients?
Did you say it a little bit lighter? Because I'm not lighter.
Well, we'll get to lighter after this one. How's that? I missed one.
Well, you know what? Mostly right now, people are concerned. They're worried about moving. Sorry, I just knocked you off. Sorry. They're worried about where to put their parents. Especially if the parent is at home or the parent is in a nursing, in a rehab right now. They're afraid to move them to a facility because they might not be able to see them. And not only that, they're not able to do a tour right now in the facilities, even though they're getting some virtual tours. They're trying to figure out how do they protect their assets, because, I think what's starting to happen with COVID is people are starting to realize that we're not invincible. I think that it's really opened the eyes to a lot of people that planning is really, really important. You need to have your documents in a row. You need to know what's going to happen. How can you protect your assets? How can you qualify for any of these government benefits to help pay for long-term care? Do I need long-term care insurance? So I'm finding that that's really what's happening right now, is that people are starting to realize that there is more to life, that they really need to start planning. And how do they protect their parents' assets so that they don't run out of money? That's always the biggest question I get. Like, how can I make this last? So,
all right, so let's talk about life then. Like, when does it go back to normal? Are you going out? What are you doing? How are you staying?
Me personally?
Yeah. How are you staying safe?
Well, I'm single, so no. So the dating world has not been that fun.
I don't doubt that.
On the other hand, it's a little fun because now, you can meet people all over. It doesn't really matter. You probably never see them, but at least you can video chat with them. So I just got back from a trip from Fort Myers with 2 of my girlfriends and our kids, and we had a great time, and it was fun. But it is a little crazy to see how many people are on the beach. We were on a private beach. And I've gotten some really, really cute masks now. I'm very proud with my mask collection.
That's awesome.
Come on, it's all about fashion.
I'm a big St. Louis Cardinal fan, so we got 4 coming in, just waiting on getting them.
It's like, I have friends that have like all kinds. We have all kinds. I have a scarf mask. I have another mask. I have a blue jean one. It's got to match the outfit. So
no doubt,
I do. And my hands have never been cleaner, because although I am a germaphobe anyway, so I was a Purell girl way before this was popular. But I'm just saying, listen, all my friends made fun of me. Like, who's laughing now?
Exactly. That's cool.
I was wearing gloves. David, to pump gas for years. And my friends always made fun of me. Like, are you crazy? I'm like, really? Who's laughing now?
Yeah, I use Perel to gas it because I can't stand the smell of the gas on my hands. But I'm glad you're going out. It's like, I talk to a lot of people, and we're shut-ins. I mean, we don't go anywhere. We don't go we've been to dinner once in the last 6 weeks. Couldn't wait to get back home.
Oh no.
Our dinner is. Our nights out are Friday nights I go to my in-laws, Sundays I go to my parents' house, and that's our social life right there. We don't do anything. So I'm glad it hasn't frozen you in place. You're going out, which is a great thing.
Yeah, the beach is my saving grace. But again, I social distance. I don't go close to anybody. Anywhere we go, we're wearing a mask. If we're eating out, we're alcoholing everything on the table, even though they come by and they say, we've already done that. We're like, yeah, we're doing it again anyway. And we stay far away from people. I won't go to somebody's house or somebody who I don't know has also kind of quarantined like I have. Right. My children go back between me and my ex-husband, and thankfully we have a very good relationship. So, it's not been easy. There's a lot of my friends out there that I haven't seen, and I miss them. So I miss that because I'm a very social person. Right. I miss all of our social activities. I'm trying to keep my sanity, which is hard in good days. Much less in COVID. Come on, let's be real.
You get-
I'm a mother of 2 boys. How
I hear
sane
you.
can I be?
Listen, I got 4. I understand what that's all about. So, I just want to say thank you for being on. But before I let you go, if somebody had any kind of questions about elder law or anything, how could somebody get in touch with you?
They can reach us at my office. My phone number is 954-866-1055, or they can go on our website, which is elderlawdepartment.com. And we have a thing on there. And also, I'm also on Facebook. So reach me everywhere.
There you go. All right. So Heidi, I just want to say thank you again for coming on. I truly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun and very interesting. I learned a lot. So I just want to say thanks.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for having me. Really, truly. Thank you.
All right. No problem.